All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode of AppSource Central. Today, I'm delighted to have an ISV from my home country, Turkey. We'll be speaking to one of the biggest partners in Turkey, Pargesoft, and we'll be speaking from Berkhan Esmer and Kaan Altunterim. Welcome to the show, Berkhan and Kaan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No
Thanks for
worries, no
having
worries.
us, Ararat.
No worries. My pleasure. Can you please briefly introduce yourself? Who is Berkhan? Who is Kaan? Let's start from there.
Sure. Kaan Bey is our founding manager and managing director. I am the marketing manager of Pargesoft. I have been in ERP industry for more than 30 years right now. I was a SAP consultant, then Oracle consultant, and then joined Microsoft for product manager of Axapta, is now known as FNO right now. 10 years I worked for Microsoft and then transferred to a integrator company, Innova, a Turkish Telecom affiliate. So after Innova, I joined Pargesoft as marketing manager. Thank you for your invitation. I'm very
No
glad to
worries.
meet you.
Likewise, my absolute pleasure. It's one of my intentions to highlight the hidden gems of AppSource, and I think we've talked one of those today. Kaan, would you like to introduce yourself as well, or are you happy with Berkhan's?
Yes. Thank you, Berkhan, for quick introduction. As he said, I am one of the co-founders of Pargesoft, one of the, let's say, most experienced partners in EMEA region of Microsoft, chosen as a localization partner at the very beginning, and then, let's say, a pivot its experience into several vertical industries and including several Dynamics products, not limited with Navision or latestly known as Business Central. We are implementing both Business Central and also finance and operations in ERP domain and CRM and Power Platform as well. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a bit of an introduction to Pargesoft as well. Would you like to give a bit more information about the Pargesoft and a bit of a history as well of the company?
Sure. In fact, I individually be a part of Pargesoft's history. When I joined Microsoft in 2005, Pargesoft was the localization partner for Navision. The old names were Navision and Axapta when they were acquired by Microsoft, the Damgard company. The Microsoft Turkey team worked with Kaan and his elder company to localize the Navision for Turkey. Microsoft wanted to have a good localization, and they know Kaan from the market. They trust him and make him to make Navision localized by Kaan Bey's company at that time. So Pargesoft was first only localization partner, and also Microsoft think that if localization partner would not enter to other projects, there will be no competition between the partners. So the localization partner must be a different company. So they wanted Kaan Bey not to enter implementations, just do localization. But when the projects were made have some problems, Microsoft asked Kaan Bey to also enter the implementation phase of the Navision. So in 2005, Pargesoft started to make implementations in the Turkish market, and then the Axapta and Navision were competing with themselves in Turkey. The Turkish market is not so big, so the Turkish companies are not so big. Microsoft were telling that Navision is good for mid and small companies, and Axapta is good for big and enterprise companies. But in Turkey, the big and enterprise companies are small and mid companies of Europe and US. So everyone was competing within the same region. It was all upper mid market and small market. And Navision and Axapta were harming each other. When NAV partner goes to a company, he was talking about the bad AX projects. When AX company goes to another customer, talks that NAV is very small for you. Microsoft designed it for small companies. I
Berkhan, I think that's
remember.
the story is still the same, I think, right? So not much changed. There's quite a bit of an overlap in terms of where BC ends and where finance and supply chain management starts. For
Yeah,
us, because I'm team BC, I trust in and I believe in the scalability of the product, and I'm quite sure that we are more than capable of implementing in enterprises as well. And market positioning, where Microsoft see both projects, that's kind of a never-ending story. So you're telling a story from
unfortunately,
maybe 20 years old, but I don't think much
it's the
changed in that
same.
aspect. What do you think, Kaan?
Yes, but
Yeah,
at least right
so
now it is Dynamics 365. So the
Correct.
product is one. You can
yeah,
choose Business Central or Finance and Operations. Here you are, Kaan Bey. Buyurun.
the, there are a lot of overlapping areas in terms of functionality and also scale that you can position both two ERPs. Ararat, I agree with you. I mean, Microsoft is promoting AX or finance and supply chain most into upper section of pyramid just because of, let's say, more structured positioning. But I mean, in terms of functionality, there are some, let's say, strengths, especially in several functional areas, including HRM and procurement in finance and supply chain, and also a commerce part. So, by the way, I am solution architect at finance and operations as well, Ararat. So I do personally implement both two ERPs of Microsoft,
Right.
and I do have a Business Central certificates as well. So even myself can not be positioned any of those ERP in several cases, but if any potential customer is in retail industry, I may definitely position finance and commerce,
Hmm.
especially
Is
in
that because of the volume of the
there
retail
are
industry?
some end-to-end out-of-the-box functionality that Microsoft is delivering, including point of sales,
Hmm.
loyalty, omni-channel solutions, even including Dynamics 365 e-commerce capabilities. Microsoft is covering more or less every aspect of retail area with D365 Commerce. Of course, there are some vertical add-ons, POS solutions for Business Central as well,
Many. Yeah.
which are delivered by ISV partners. By those, let's say ISV solutions, it is also possible to deliver, let's
Yeah.
say, a successful implementation in BC, but as a global or core offering, we are mostly recommending commerce for retail customers. And it is
Okay.
also some, uh, s- let's say, specific verticals that we are positioning finance and supply chain instead of Business Central, especially in process manufacturing area, configure to order businesses, for example. Again, SCM has deeper functionality comparing with standard out-of-the-box Business Central. So that's why. But it is not only one key to, let's say, open every door. So
Yeah. But granted, there is no one size fits all, so it's
mm,
probably case by case. We started from who is Pargesoft and the history of Pargesoft, and now we find ourselves discussing completely something else, and which is fantastic.
mhm.
But before we dive into AppSource and your relation with AppSource, I want to say something, Berkhan. Your English is really good. So I know you had some concerns before the
Yeah.
podcast when we discussed. So I want to congratulate first of all, your courage and really appreciate your effort. So I think you've been doing great. So, and one thing for the audience is when Berkhan refers to Kaan, he says Kaan Bey. So when you hear Kaan Bey for the English audiences, I want to say, so when you refer to someone in Turkey, by out of respect, you add the Bey behind. That's like a Mister. So, so when he says Kaan Bey, that's actually not his name. That's Bey is actually, it's kind of a, how you refer.
Additional salutation, huh?
That's it. First, I
There,
had,
there is similar, let's say, salutation in Japan
yeah,
as well, as far
like
as I
Kaan-san,
know.
is it?
Yeah,
San.
yeah.
Yes.
Kaan-san.
Yeah.
Kaan-san. Yeah.
And
Because
of course,
if you just refer someone to by his or her name, it kind of gets as it's unrespectful, right? Because people can receive it, not us perhaps, but yeah.
I don't mind, but I
Okay.
mean, Berkhan is preferring to use that,
Yeah.
let's say, Bay
And
tag.
when I first moved overseas and started speaking English, I was referring my manager as Mr. His name was Conrad Abela. I was keep saying Mr. Abela, Mr. Abela, and he was like, "Why are you calling me Mr. Abela? Just call me Conrad." It was so it takes some time. It takes some time. Granted. Okay, let's.
so I am in
Yeah,
Turkey, Ararat.
yeah, sure.
Uh,
Yeah,
Kaan Bey is in Europe, so Kaan Bey is very
Yes.
he um, alıştı.
yeah. He's
He gets
familiar with
used
the
to
routines
be
of the.
yeah,
He
he
gets
gets
used to
used
it.
to
Yeah.
be introduced by his name, but I am in Turkey and I don't want to um, lose my reflection. If I introduce myself to a customer, I don't want to introduce my customer as Kaan.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Fair
I am
enough.
an old man. I don't want to change my.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. No, that's great. That's yeah, fantastic. All right, where do we go? All right, let's talk about your business central practice. Actually, we didn't do enough justice talking about your business central practice.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I know you have your local projects as well. Pretty much that's how the practice is, I assume, being shaped. But now you're becoming a product development practice too. So can you give me some insights about your business central practice, please?
Of course. We start our journey as a Navision partner and merge to AX partner. We also uh, develop our muscles in AX business. We have more than 130 consultants. Most of them are AX customer FNO consultants, but our most of our revenue comes from BC. Although we have more FNO consultants, we are still a major player in Turkish BC market. As Microsoft invests in artificial intelligence and Power Platform business, we also introduce our Power Platform group. We have very big companies, SAP users, Oracle users, who made some new projects on Power Platform, and Pargesoft is one of the suppliers who may create a good job on Power Platform.
Okay.
So we have a very big company of Turkey,
Uh-huh.
Oyak Group,
Yes.
for Power Platform customer. We have Toyota as a customer in Power Platform. So other than BC, we have also a very good experience in Microsoft platform.
Great. The
Uh,
Power Platform is more and more integrated with Business Central
yeah,
and more pushed by Microsoft to be more utilized, and it's getting more mature and mature each day. So perhaps it's a platform we're all exploring and trying to integrate with our Business Central implementation. So that's granted. But in terms of your Business Central let's say, customer base. So I know you have your local customers, but do you have Business Central customers outside Turkey as well?
Sure.
Yes, in more than 20 countries, I can easily say that we have already implemented and we are implementing in some others by Business Central. Of
Wow.
course, we are collaborating with local partners mostly in that, let's say, outside of Turkey. By the way, Ararat, maybe it is also relevant with that AppSource discussion.
Mhm.
We have three locations. One and the biggest is in Istanbul, Turkey, but we have uh, launched our second subsidiary in London 6 years ago, and I am personally now in Belgium, Brussels, and
Mhm.
our third, let's say, branch has also launched here in Belgium. So we do have three offices, but we have more than we are operating more than 30 countries, I can easily say,
Wow.
including finance and supply chain operations. But especially in localization
Mhm.
sensitive markets, we are collaborating with local partners, at least to
Mhm.
cover local functionality to be implemented, or there can be some tricky things. There can be some complexities in legislations or
Makes sense.
localization. So
So
we are
that's probably the
cooperating
reason
with.
for one of your apps. A few of your apps has this specific country names, and so we see like Romania or some of the countries I don't remember off the top of my head.
It,
That
it
translates into what you're saying, I guess, right? So though in those countries,
it is
yeah.
not directly related with that. I mean,
Mm,
especially at the it is still being managed like that by Microsoft. There are several countries still in the Business Central portfolio to be localized by partners or
mm,
registered partners, but not Microsoft.
yes,
Turkey is one of them. For example, Romania can be the other, and
mm,
they're especially third-tier countries, I can say,
yeah,
Ararat.
yes,
Localization solutions, local packages are being developed by partners like us and to be, let's say, verified, controlled, and approved by Microsoft. In order to do so or promote that solution, you need to publish that local packages into AppSource.
mm, mm, mm,
Yeah,
yes,
of course, there are, I mean, we are in this dynamics business more than 23 years, but at the very beginning, Microsoft was managing that localization for Navision. Uh, and from the version NAV 2013, they have decided to, let's say, group that countries and that third tier countries are left to the partners to be localized. So
yeah,
that's why since that day, we are keeping some legislative functionality up and running in Navision and latestly in Business Central as an add-on, but it is being verified, approved by Microsoft. So some local, let's say, country names in the solutions or app source listed
yeah.
modules that you can easily say that because of that, let's say, strategy of Microsoft, I
I
can say.
understand. Okay, yeah, that explains that. So let's dive into AppSource. So I know you've been making add-ons for maybe more than 20 years from the nav days. What about AppSource? When did you introduce your first app to AppSource? And how long you been there? And what's your journey with the Microsoft AppSource so far?
Yeah, as I said, one of the first solution or one of the first yeah add-on or package that we had to add app source. It was roughly 6, 7 years. How old? I mean, what is? I do not remember exact time, but
Okay,
it should be
been a while.
6 years,
Okay.
6 years or something minimum. We had to add Turkish language packages, not
Hmm.
the local features, but I mean captions and all formed reports have to be, let's say, used in Turkish language as well. So we had to add Turkish language package into AppSource first. This was the first experience of us with AppSource. And then, of course, we have added Turkish localization and the others. Uh, and then we have realized that, I mean, no need to limit with that localization or local packages, legislative ones, RRT. We can
Mhm.
use that app source as an, let's say, kind of stepping stone into other countries, and it can be also used as a marketplace for some of our, let's say, solutions that we have built. Berkhan mentioned that we have started our journey in 2002, just right after acquisition that Navision software by Microsoft, and
Mhm.
we are going to discuss with some of them, at least one of them in detail. We have
Yes.
also developed vertical solutions on top of that platform, not the horizontal ones as well. And it looks like it will AppSource is a good marketplace to promote that solutions.
All right.
And it is growing. I mean, the solutions that the partners are adding up are also growing at AppSource.
Is it helping you to scale up? So is this, can you generate leads for you to expand your operations to other countries?
Yeah, especially for multi-site, multi-country customers or prospects that
Mhm.
they are searching local solutions into that areas are finding us easily via AppSource, but also to promote some of our solutions into other regions, including Western Europe and UK. We are also using that AppSource platform as a leverage point.
Yeah.
But we are also, I mean, by the support of Berkhan, we are also trying to improve our footprint in AppSource, and we are, let's say, trying to be more on AppSource with other vertical solutions as much as
Okay.
possible.
That's what I was. Let's look at the app source right now because that's something I want to talk. Because when I look at your website, I see quite a few industry solutions. It's quite varied. But when I
Mhm.
look at the app source, I don't see the reflection of that in the in app source. There's mostly local, as you said. There's quite a few local uh, apps, and
Mhm.
there is one or two. No, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to AppSource and I'll search for Pargesoft apps.
There
At the moment, you have
should
eight
be
eight
eight,
apps.
eight,
Yep,
nine. You have
uh,
filtered out for only for Business Central, I guess. There should be
correct. I
that
have the
that.
filter for Business Central. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. So then you have the e-invoice and e-archive for Turkey. Then
Uh-huh.
re-evaluate capacity cost. Is this a local one?
It is kind of actual
Hmm,
costing, actual cost accounting solutions
mhm,
in Business Central. You know, I mean, in the standard of Business Central, standard costing is applicable for manufacturing companies, but especially in higher inflation or FX volatile countries, that
mhm.
standard costing can be painful. So that's why
Yes.
that cost allocation with actual cost methods can also be very value added. It is not, let's say, Turkish specific, but there
Yeah.
can be also applicable for manufacturing
Yep.
companies.
Sorry, my
All
mistake. It
right.
actually says all countries where BC is
Mm,
available, so it's actually
mm,
globally available
mm,
app.
mm, mhm,
Um, yep, I remember in my Turkey days that costing
mm.
has always been under the spotlight. One of the biggest things we have to work with. So there's Payroll 365 for Turkey, and that's one of the local apps. Then e-Ledger, Dynamics 365 Business Central e-Ledger. This is also for Turkey. It says in the description. Then you have the Turkish localization. Then e-Dispatch. This is not a local app as far as I know, right? Uh,
This is Waybill, let's say digital signage solutions for Waybill documents that
Mhm.
can be used, let's say, in delivery operations.
Right.
Uh,
It's yep.
oh,
It's available in many few countries in Europe and also United States, right? So it's uh, yep available in select countries.
You know what, Ararat, we are
Yep.
learning that country, let's say, mapping. Of course,
Right.
we at the very beginning. I mean,
Uh-huh.
since it is most critical to be, let's say, available in Turkey, we were choosing that Turkey in our registration and verification process, and
Yeah.
we have learned, and we we are, let's say, getting better on that, and we are adding
Yeah.
that, let's say, geographical coverage in our latest, let's say, registrations on AppSource.
Makes sense. Makes
Mm,
sense. There's a bit of a
mm.
learning curve for sure for all of us. And then there's Blue Taxilat. That means a cloud. Uh, yeah. That's yeah.
Bank automation tool, which can be linked automatically with Business Central, not
Mhm.
limited with, let's say, bank transactions, let's say, gathering, but it is also being used as an AP automation purposes.
Okay.
Vendor payments, vendor payment approval process
Right.
can also be managed via that solution as well.
Great. AP automation is also a hot topic, and
Mm.
with the agents coming with payables agents and so on. So, yep, it's definitely one of the hot topics. And then the app that we're gonna talk in detail in a moment, that is the mall and property management, right? So these are the apps you have in AppSource. Um, so you, uh, as I mentioned, you have a few um, solutions, vertical solutions, that we don't really see the reflection here. Is it something you have on the pipeline? Like, because I see enterprise asset management solutions you guys have. There is more retail and hospitality solutions you
We,
have.
we,
Or
we, 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 we we do have a lot of, let's say, solutions. You know, throughout that years from the very beginning, Arat, as I have highlighted, we have developed a lot of vertical solutions,
Mhm.
mostly in professional services area and some in horizontal. As for
Mhm.
example, one of the biggest business process outsourcing companies was our customer. They are still our customer, and we were chosen as a payroll provider. And we have added business process outsourcing contracts solution on top of, at that time, a Navision, which can fully integrated that payroll results to compare with contract definitions and to generate invoices with an
Mhm.
automation. They are that kind of automation tools. We are naming business process outsourcing, and we, they are right now able to produce their roughly more than 2,000 invoices per month with one single click to prevent any, let's say, manual intervention. So those kind of solutions we have already upgraded into Business Central, and we are
Okay.
right now packaging them to be listed into AppSource as well.
All right.
Most probably, once we will do this interview with you, let's say 6 months or in a year, there will be significant amount of add-ons of Pargesoft listed
Okay.
on top of that.
Uh, I'll note this down and remind you in 6 months. So someone have an excuse for a second round. That's good to hear. Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the mall and property management. So mall management, property management also kind of encapsulate mall management, right? At the end of the malls are also properties.
Yeah,
But what is the reason that you significantly say mall and property management? Is it the real strength of this app?
yeah, especially the, let's say, uh, initial business requirements were pop up from one of our existing customers who are managing more than 50 shopping centers in Turkey. You know, I mean, especially in Turkey, there may be more than 500 something. I mean, especially in several countries, shopping centers are very popular. It is more or less similar in Turkey. And managing that units or lots or magazine stores or food courts are being rented to the companies, retailers, or let's say uh, hospitality companies and so on. And managing that operations uh, fully integrated with finance can be very painful and very manual. And I mean, creating recurring rental invoices. In most cases, it is not flat rental invoices. It can be the combination of square meters of the magazines. Some, let's say, incentives can be given to the lessors or lessees, so that can be that kind of incentives or exceptions can be complex. And on top of that, allocation of, let's say, expenses and distribution of those expenses into each stores, each magazines can also be uh, too much time consuming. So we have developed contract management solution and linking those solutions with property mapping of each shopping center. And all these properties are linked with landlords and lessors. So both purchasing operations and sales or AR and AP operations are being orchestrated in a let's say, full automated way with that solution. And we have added additional functionality, including facility management. So, you know, especially in property management, it is critical to deliver proper services to the, let's say, customers or clients, not limited with, let's say, cleaning services or guarding services, and also some repair and maintenance services that you need to manage. So all these functionality, and also it covers, or it, let's say, strengths Microsoft Business Central functionality with that facility management add-ins. I mean, although there is a service management capabilities of Navision or Business Central, that facility management can be different. So we have added that facility management functionality, and then we have realized that this functionality is not, let's say, limited with shopping malls, but can be applicable for other, let's say, property management companies. And we have also started to roll out that solutions. We do have that property management companies among our customer list, and we are delivering end-to-end solutions that property management companies with these add-on right now.
Wow, sounds very comprehensive. That was a really good summary. Thank you very much. So in did I get so granted a mall manager or a complex retail uh, operations manager? So that's kind of entities can use this app. But what other businesses? Did I understand it correctly? A real estate company also can use this app?
Definitely, any kind of property managers. For example,
Mm,
I am mostly in Belgium. Here in Belgium, it is very popular to, let's say, give that rental, let's say, maintenance operations into the companies or into the corporate enterprise. Not, I mean, real people or people, real persons will not choose to manage these kind of bureaucratic things too much, but they are outsourcing it. For example,
mm.
that kind of property managers or real estate operators can also be the potential customers of that solutions. And also, for example, industrial zones or managing that industrial zones. If there are multiple, let's say, entities on that specific industrial zone to be managed financially and operationally, uh, that solution can cover in that industrial zone management or any kind of business centers, Ararat,
Mhm.
that you can use. For example, any skyscraper or a business center
Right.
which have multiple entities to be managed financially in an orchestrated way. Those kind of, let's say, service providers can be the good fit of that mall and property management solution.
Great. Is this globally available? So can you use this app anywhere in the world?
Yes, I mean, we have, let's say, developed that solutions roughly 5, 6 years ago with
Mm.
Microsoft best practices, and we have recently having the approval verification of Microsoft, which is also kind of certificate for us to
Okay.
be deployed for multiple geographics. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Does the business same, or are there a lot of local elements in mall and property management? How applicable is it, or how scalable is it?
There can be some local, let's say, differences in terms of
Mhm.
contract management.
Mm.
For example, especially rental fees are more flat in,
Mm.
let's say, Western Europe countries, for example. It is kind of being managed in a, let's say, more simple way, but that expense allocations, facility management, and generating invoice, creating that, let's say, facility management work orders to orchestrate them are more or less global business routines.
Okay. Uh, right. Great.
Ararat, maybe
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
interrupt and add something.
Of course. Yeah.
In
Sure.
Turkey, we have a high inflation, and the
Unfortunately.
rentals are a big problem for the property owner and the renter.
Mhm.
So in Turkey, we also have to know what are the elements of the monthly rental. For example, the 3% of the whole revenue can be invoiced to the renter. But I think in Europe, these are more steady. They don't change the rules every time, or every time the property owner make negotiations about the revenue of the property. So it is easy making mall management in Europe or Western Europe, but it's very hard in Turkey because everything is
Mm.
debated, everything is talked and talked again and again,
Yeah.
and the property owner wants to be sure about the total month revenue of the shop. So
Yes.
if the shop may define that I don't earn 1 million Turkish liras this month, so I only make 5,000 revenue.
Mhm.
The owner want to be sure about how much revenue make the company. So there are some other partners who are trying to forecast or want to know what may be the income of that store so that I can invoice more to the renter. So there are very different situations in Turkey about mall management.
Okay, fair enough. We don't like to do things in an easy way. We usually tend to pick the hard way in Turkey.
Yeah, but regardless the complexity of that contract, I mean, issuing that invoices, splitting them, managing in a fully orchestrated way, automated way, are, let's say, common problems of that property managers, let's say, globally. And also facility management capabilities are also, let's say, weakest link of Business Central. I have to say that we are, let's say, extending strength and enriching with that add-ons that we have developed.
Okay, fair enough. I see there is quite a few property management apps on AppSource as well. What would you reckon your mall and property management apps biggest strength, and what sets your app apart from the rest?
I can say that any kind of contract complexity can be managed in, let's say, most effective way, a kind of, let's say, Excel-like contract definitions and linking those contract parameters or components with, let's say, standard functionality of a Business Central with accounts payables, account receivables, and inventory and fixed asset modules, RRAT. You can configure any kind of contracts, either in landlord, I mean purchase side, or rental side, I mean customer side. You can configure that contract, and it can you can let's say automate a contract billing process with one single click, and also facility management
Do they
functionality
have to
that
make
we have.
click? Is it Kaan? Can't they do without a click? Do they have to click?
We are going to, let's say, give that responsibility to Copilot. Of course,
Okay.
by the support of RPA, Power Automate. By the way, as Berkhan mentioned, we are also implementing Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Platform solutions to our customers, and it is good for us to, let's say, deliver solutions with that full framework of Microsoft. It is easier to press that, let's say, button with
Yes.
Power Automate, RPA, or Copilot
Right.
agents.
Yeah. So sorry I interrupted you. You were talking about with one click they can automate that contract billing from end to end. That was great in terms of we got a lot of insights about the mall and property management app. So all your apps are they almost all of them. This says contact me. Why is it contact me? Can't they just install? Is it because you're not transactable on AppSource?
We were recommended like that, and maybe just because of the, let's say, uh, we have not tried the other way around, Ararat, and there can be also some data packages to be ready and make that, let's say, demo run in most easiest way to our potential customers. But especially for mall and property management, we do want to, let's say, understand at least fundamental needs of our customers, prospects, to discuss with them, to, let's say, recommend them most suitable data packages or starting points. So that's why it looks like it is more comfortable for us. But to create SaaS kind of, let's say, massive rollout opportunities, the other option can also be used or considered. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually want to be quite involved in the implementation and the onboarding process, let's say. That's why you kind of prefer the contact with me, right?
Not the implementation, but at least to understand fundamentals of a prospect to recommend them a best way to proceed. But we are open to, let's say, collaborate with other partners
Yeah.
who may be
Do you
interested
have
in.
demand from other partners? Do you already have demands from other
Uh,
partners?
yeah, we are
Mhm.
receiving some kind of demonstration or, let's say, detailed information
Nice.
uh, from other countries, including Far East and US. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, fantastic. All right.
Mhm.
Do you
Ararat,
have
and
anything else to? Yes, sure. Yes, Berkhan?
the shopping malls were a fashion in Turkey.
Yes.
In the main streets, there are 3 or 4 shopping malls
Yeah, we love a shopping mall in
nearby,
here, right?
yeah, and they are all very big. In Turkey, the shopping malls, maybe in Europe and United States, it's the same. I don't know about the international type, but we say that there is an A plus shopping malls. There are A shopping malls. There are BC shopping malls. I mean, according to the income of the target market, the shopping malls are also differentiate within themselves. The location of the shopping mall, there are some companies who have more than one brand. For example, the very famous Zara Group. When
Mm-hmm.
Zara Group comes to a shopping mall, they want 6 stores adjacent to each other so that they can give Zara the Massimo Dutti or the other brands within the same place. These are also things that the shopping mall owner have to manage. There
Okay.
must be a definition of the stores, who are they are negotiating for which store, how many Turkish liras or dollars they propose to the owner, to the renter.
Yeah.
So there are very different issues when managing the shopping mall in Turkey. So
Great
according to
insights. Yeah.
the shopping mall category,
Mm-hmm.
the functionalities of the software may change. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to contract with them. We have to understand what is the
Okay.
statute of the shopping mall, what they want to be, what they want to offer for the commerce. For example, maybe you also know that some companies are very customer attractors. The
Mm-hmm.
shopping mall can offer no rental if they open a store in their shopping mall. So they know that there are many, many guests, visitors for that brand. So it will increase the visiting number of the shopping mall and they can increase the rentals for the other stores. There are some brands like attracting people.
Yeah.
So there are very different issues in the shopping mall management. So we had to contract them, contact them.
That that's brilliant. That's really good insights about the industry. I learned quite a lot there, and this also demonstrates Pargesoft's expertise, the subject matter expertise in shopping malls and property management as well. So that's really good input. Thank you very much, Berkan. So I would like to talk about a bit technical stuff very briefly. I don't want to take too much of your time. This
Mhm.
is the reason I'm asking this. It's not really a question or interrogate. No, it's really to understand how are you maintaining? How do you take care of your reps? And the reason being, someone from outside, because they might have the wrong impression of, oh, the third world country, if someone from Turkey, probably they're not maintaining the rep properly, and so they wouldn't even bother maybe contacting you. So this actually intends to give visibility, not only you guys, but everyone, to actually demonstrate how you take care of your reps. So that's why I'm asking this things like, do you use CI/CD? What's your DevOps operations. So let's start from there. How do you take care of your apps?
Yes, especially of course, Microsoft is uh, changing the, let's say, development structure layer from the very first Navision days to the latest Business Central Online, especially by this extension, let's say, oriented development framework that they have launched finally. I mean, this is also one of the breakthrough for Business Central to make it, let's say, globally implemented and can also be compared with finance and operations, finance and supply chain management solution much. So we are, let's say, using that extension capabilities, and we are, of course, managing all these add-ons, even some, let's say, detailed functionality under that add-ons with separate extensions. But of course, we are also managing best practices of versioning. We
Uh-huh.
are using GitHub,
Uh-huh.
uh, Docker technologies, and also Azure DevOps. All these packages products are being
Uh-huh.
managed in Microsoft Azure DevOps
So your
framework.
repositories are in Azure DevOps, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and version management and release management and product roadmap. I mean, we are
Mhm.
a pro, let's say, releasing that release notes, and we are giving
Okay.
product roadmap information for some of our add-ons to be listed in AppSource. But I mean, thanks to, let's say, Azure DevOps, GitHub, let's say, repositories and latest extension functionality, especially you remember from the old, let's say, versions of Navision, it
Yeah.
was really hard to manage that packages, add-ons merged with any, let's say, customized solutions
Right.
in
Right.
shorter time period. But we have, let's say, uh, adapted ourselves into latest recent development
Mhm.
best practices and tools of Microsoft, which is recommended also by Microsoft
Okay. Okay.
much.
That's that. Yep. I understand that. All right. I know you're the founder and you're not particularly technical, so you might not really know all the details in the technical aspect. So that's why if you, I'm wrong.
No,
I'm
Ararat,
probably
no,
wrong.
no,
Berkhan is doing like this.
no. He's the best technical person in the company.
Okay, okay. Let's talk then. Let's talk. So what are the CI/CD processes you use then? Do you use the managed CI/CD solution? Because you mentioned Azure DevOps. Do you have your own pipelines in terms of your uh, build
Yeah.
solutions, or what do you use in terms of your CI/CD solution?
We are, I mean, of course, we using our Azure DevOps and pipeline structures for
Mhm.
uh, all Business Central packages products into one unified, let's say, development platform,
Yep.
RRAT,
Mhm.
because there may be some, let's say, a relation or let's say overlapping functionality for some of our packages. For example, e-ledger and payroll can interfere. So that's why we are managing that, and we do have a dedicated DevOps team who are
Mhm.
orchestrating that part. I mean, we do have quality and test and quality team that we are also using one of the test automation tools. As I mean, this is actually third-party test automation tool. We are also trying to optimize and trying to utilize page script test automation tool of Microsoft. But
Okay.
the
What is this
the
third-party test automation you mentioned? Is this Playwright again, like page scripting, or because when you say test automation,
no.
it's for me it's AL test automation. So we code the
No,
test
no,
automation, right?
no, no,
Yeah.
no. I am not. Let me be sure the name of that. test automation tool.
Right.
There are also, by the
Yep.
way,
I
of
mean, page
course,
scripting is great. Yeah.
it is coming from, of course, some recommendations of our some of our customers,
Okay.
and it was derived from our previous Excel Q,
Yes.
the
Yes.
this test automation tool that we are using
Yep.
for product development tool. Page
Fantastic.
scripting that we are using if there is any development that we need to handle in customers' development
Mm.
environments, Ararat. But
Yeah.
for the products that we are managing, we are using XLQ as a
XLQ. I'm a bit familiar with XLQ. It's also playwright technology, right? Based on the so you click on things, you create your
yeah.
demo, and it replays it for you. That.
Especially for that kind of invoice generation process, if there will be
Mm,
any bugs or
mm,
if there will be any, let's say, missing things in the code, it can be very painful. So that's why we are
yeah.
teaching the model and we are, let's say,
Yeah.
recording that scripts and we are reiterating that, let's say, script scenarios each time that we have done. So our
That's.
test team is
Mm.
utilizing that XLQ kind of test
That's
automation
fantastic.
tool.
That's really interesting, and that alone can be an podcast on its own. To be honest, XLQ. Do you see page scripting in Business Center? I understand XLQ can be applicable because your product suite is quite vast. So there is
Mhm,
other Dynamics 365 suites that you can also utilize XLQ. But in terms
mhm.
of the Business Central, do you see page scripting at some point can replace XLQ?
Not with page script by itself,
Mm.
but it has to be automated. It has to be, let's say, strengthened. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Alright, which is missing. So that's why Microsoft is
Yep.
still, let's say, tagging that functionality as preview. I mean, we are using
Correct.
that page scripting to, let's say, deliver kind of how to or user guide kind of documentation to the key users and end
Yep.
users
Yep.
for our solutions, but
Oh.
not
Mm.
being utilized in a full automated way. And we are not right now able to link that page scripting, uh, let's say, tool with Azure DevOps pipelines in a fully automated way. So it is too hard to automate that test process with current structure of page scripting. So that's why
Mm.
we are expecting some more development from Microsoft on that part. But we are, I mean,
Mm.
it's a good, let's say, starting point, and it is
Yeah.
very promising, I need to say, and it is good for us as partners to deliver kind of user guides or how to documentation in already embedded in Business Central. You know,
Absolutely.
maybe this can be the first time I mean, your guests are rephrasing it, that page scripting is kind of a similar solution of task guide in finance and supply chain. That
Ah, okay.
task guide functionality was, I mean, being used at Axapta more or less
Right.
more than 10 years. Of course, it is also being extended or, let's say, strengthened in finance and supply chain as well. But page scripting is more or less similar
Yeah.
functionality that Microsoft has added into Business Central, which is great, by the way, but
Yeah.
not let's say, sufficient for test automation purposes.
Okay, fair enough. It's in preview for a reason, but we can with the latest, in fact, two major release before, not this one, but the previous one, they also announced that we can utilize page scripts within our pipelines. So it's also doable, but obviously you're right, it's not even in
I mean,
yeah,
we of course, they are adding, let's say, new stuff each time, and
yeah,
it can be harder for us to follow up. And
yeah,
we are experiencing some problems in our projects, and we are trying to find the solutions like XLQ, and we are not revisiting that, let's say, latest version of that.
Fair enough.
But especially to manage multiple environments, including development, QA, pre-production or production environments, in Business Central, that orchestration is not linked with one environment only, but there should be, let's say, also managed in multiple environments. Maybe again, they
Yeah.
are they are good on that progress, but at least not fully
Not there yet, huh?
automated in terms of
Yeah. I
test
mean,
automation.
you said it. We had a bit of a technical debt in terms of testing. It's 10 years. It's a long time to mature testing product, and we just had page scripting in 2 years ago, something like that. So that itself speaks our technical debt in Business Central testing. That was a great discussion, so thank you very much for that. I'd never been able to manage time, and I'm obviously over time again.
You
I'll
you
let
you you are going to cut some of
yeah,
the parts, but I, of course,
that's okay. That doesn't matter.
feel free to cut my
You know
long
what? I'll keep
sentences.
everything. I'll keep everything. There's value in
Okay.
every word you guys are saying, so I'm gonna keep as
Okay.
much as I can. So let's talk about I'll very quickly wrap this up. So in terms of your collaboration, I want to ask this question. As an ISV from Turkey, what am I saying? As an ISV from Turkey, do you feel uh, do you feel well connected with the wider Dynamics 365 community, let's say? Or do you see any challenges? Do you feel like an outsider? Because when I was working in Turkey, I had a bit of a feeling of not being part of the community and a little bit of an outsider, but that might be me and how I approach things. Do you have that kind of a feeling, or am I just talking rubbish here?
We are kind of lucky, or maybe I can say visionary. I mean, just before pandemic, we were
Hmm.
attending Microsoft Inspire for the, let's say, recent 6, 7 years, which is one of the biggest, let's say, worldwide partner event of Microsoft, and we had a chance to meet both other partners and also some technical experts. Of course, just after pandemic, it turned dramatically into an online environment, and recently they have also, let's say, started that on sites. But in Europe, for example, we are attending directions, directions EMEA, directions sessions, directions events can also be very helpful for us to meet with other partners and to, let's say, benefit from their experiences much. But
Okay,
it is
fair enough.
it is still something to put into that experience sharing. Maybe we can consider something else.
Sure. Okay. No, that's a really good answer. In terms of looking ahead, I you said a few apps might be on the roadmap, and we might be talking about significantly more apps in AppSource in 6 months' time. What else? What else is cooking in Pargesoft's lab? Is there anything exciting ahead that listeners should wait?
Yeah, I mean, especially we are uh, experiencing to be on AppSource, and at the
Mhm.
very same time, we are, of course, we are putting that solutions into AppSource, but we have to boost that solutions throughout the partner network and Dynamics 365 community at the very same time. So we are in parallel focusing on digital marketing operations. But apart from that, in terms of product availability, we have prioritized our add-ons to be listed in AppSource. We are going to add one by one. For example, in business process outsourcing solution that I have mentioned. It will be on the road. We have add-on for guarding companies, man guarding services. You know, it is also very painful to orchestrate that contract billing and let's say resource scheduling process for man guarding industry, which is one of the, let's say, most comprehensive add-ons that we have developed, and it is being used for well-known global man guarding companies that we are going to add as well. What else? And there are some horizontal ones in, yeah, that's all the add-ons that
Great,
I
exciting
do
stuff.
remember.
I think the artificial intelligence and mobile is very strong right now. We have a solution called Task 360. It's an computerized maintenance management system, but there are lots of CMS softwares. You know, in Turkey, Bimser is a very strong local company. Maximo was the leader for years and years. Then
IBM, right?
Infor
IBM
and
Maximo.
Infor acquired some of the biggest maintenance management software like DataStream and some others, and Infor become a big software provider. Right now, we introduced Task 360. It's a mobile-based and artificial intelligence strengthened software. We have big dreams about it. One of the developers of Task 360 is a very former NAV developer, Gökhan Bey,
Yes.
as you said.
Vector Bay.
Gökhan Bey.
Gökhan Bey,
So
yeah.
we have a integration in Wilco. Wilco is the cleaning provider for ATMs. There are 10,000 ATMs in Turkey, and their sterilization and cleaning is managed by Wilco. Wilco is our customer, and they are using this application. They have the contract with the banks, and there's a routine where at what period they will go to which ATM and which cleaning procedures will be made. These are all managed by the Task 360. So when the cleaner finish its process, its duty, he takes a photo of the ATM, and the artificial intelligence check if it is made properly or not.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so before the cleaning, he takes a photo. It is the beginning of the process. When he finishes all his work, he takes the second photo. The artificial intelligence control whether it is made a cleaning process properly. So the AI approves the work, and if it is approved, then it will pay it to the contractor company. So they are also taking the business, but they can outsource the cleaning to smaller companies. So it is a very complicated thing. You should be sure that this ATM was cleaned and maintained, or hydrogen
Sanitize.
sanitized.
Yeah. Okay.
So
is this a
we are.
standalone app, or does this flow to Business Central, or is this a standalone app?
It's a standalone app, but we have integration with BC.
You have already, so we should
Yes, it is working in Wilco.
Okay. Okay, well, very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the
there are
AI,
really serious players in enterprise asset management and Business Central as well. As you know, it's one of the areas that ISVs have built really good solutions. So this will really add to the competition, but it's great. The more competition, the better, I guess, at some point. Exciting stuff. I'm trying to wrap this up now. So if anyone wants to reach out to you guys, what is the best way? I'll put your website obviously on the description, but what is the best way to reach out to you guys?
info@pargesoft.com is our main email address. So if they send an email to info@pargesoft.com, me, Kaan Bey, and 13 other people will get the email, and someone will definitely reply to that email.
Okay. That's a really good
But
explanation. I'm just gonna
we are
put that
also
mail address in. Yeah,
we are also in LinkedIn, so
sure.
they can reach us individually by Kaan and me. And also
Yes.
Pargesoft has a LinkedIn account. They can send a message to Pargesoft account. They can send to you. You can you can forward us.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Send it to me. Why not? Okay, that's great. To wrap this up, what would be your closing notes? Well, if you had one message to the Business Center community, what would you say?
No, I personally do want to talk to you for, let's say, sincere interview, Ararat. Of course, we are one of the, let's say, oldest partners in the region, and we are so confident. I mean, we were always happy to be the partner of, let's say, Navision, Microsoft ERP systems by, let's say, the flexibility or by the scalability uh, options of that framework, and we are trying to also, let's say, show that expertise into wider geographical area. It is also good for us to let's express ourselves into that, let's say, wider community by the support of you. Thank you. Thank you, Ararat.
No worries. My absolute pleasure having you both here. Berkhan, would you have any closing messages?
Thank you very much for your time and participation.
No
You're
worries.
great.
Oh, thank you for your kind words. It's been absolute pleasure having an ISV from my own country, my ex-country. Let's say the country that I was born and raised. Let's put it that way. It's one of the goals of this podcast to actually talk with the partners that they don't have the visibility as much as the others, perhaps, and talk about that solutions that they're not that popular. Um, so I'm super happy. That's my longest podcast so far. But I feel like if we had an extra hour, we would
you,
just talk another
you,
hour.
you can cut at least some portion of it, huh?
Uh, I'll
Okay.
try. I'll try. It's gonna be difficult,
Okay.
but maybe I'll use AI a little bit to do that. Berkhan Bey, Kaan Bey. Sorry. Thank you both for joining to this
Thanks.
episode, and I really appreciate your support and thanks for being part of this journey. Um, and thanks for all the listeners. I hope this gives you a better understanding of who Pargesoft is, a bit of insights about mall and property management, and hope there's value in listening to this episode. This is the end of the episode. Thank you all for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.